Today is day 78 of 100 Random Acts of Kindness. Today is Monday. We left Ottawa last Friday morning, I guess, to go to my uncle's funeral. And then from there, I spent the week at home with family. And then we came back on Friday. And then Saturday we were helping a friend who's getting married, and Johanna was up. And then Sunday we were back here we met another friend for breakfast, which was awesome. So we were home probably by 1 p.m. I was doing a ton of administrative stuff that I just did not do over the week. And then Keith fell asleep, and then he got up, and then I fell asleep. This chemo was making me really tired. I'm not one to sleep in the middle of the day. I'm not one to sleep in the middle of the night. So to sleep in the middle of the day was really strange. And then I got up, and I was up for maybe, I don't even know, 2 hours, and was back asleep. So I think it was a mixture of the week. I was exhausted all week. And then I didn't get a ton of sleep over the weekend either. So I'm hoping that I'm not going to sleep every day for 3 hours during the day, because I am not into that. But I got to do what my body's telling me. So looking around today, I won't show you my living room, but I kind of have stuff scattered all over the place. My laptop's open. I have some writing I want to do today. I have this, which I wouldn't have even been able to touch before. But it's a picture of a needle. Which is huge. So this is part of my exposure therapy. I can touch the page. I can touch the needle part. It's a really big deal. So I have another appointment tomorrow, and we'll see how that goes. I have this. It says, speak up, start the conversation about end-of-life care, advanced care planning workbook, Ontario edition. I know that freaks everybody out, but it's brilliant, to be honest. I'm making decisions now when I'm sound of mind, so that my family and friends can help speak kind of on my behalf, but they know what I will have wanted. And I think it's a hard thing to do now, but it could be an impossible thing to do later if I don't do it now. So this stuff doesn't bother me, but I know it bothers some people who watch these videos, because they don't like the idea of me having to do this stuff, but not doing it or ignoring it is not the answer. So I'm working through it today. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I think it's interesting to kind of learn things. I've learned a lot about DNRs. To me, let's say 10 years ago, I would have thought well, why wouldn't you get a DNR? Of course you're going to want to stay alive. But I've learned the odds of, if my heart stops, and it being cancer related, for them to revive me is going to just mean destroying my chest, the muscles in my chest, breaking a lot of ribs. I have cancer in my bones, so that's never going to heal. And then the odds of me surviving all of it is 25%. And then once I survive it, I'm left in shambles. I'm not saying either way. I'm not saying what's good for anybody, but you learn a lot when you start going through this stuff. And so how to just blindly sign something or not sign something, you just have to know these things. You have to learn these things. Well, you don't have to, but it's easier for you. And I genuinely believe when it's time that I can't communicate, or I'm in some kind of morphine coma, or I'm unconscious, or whatever it is, why wouldn't I want to help my family? So that leads into my next thing, which is my random act of kindness. My friend Julie, who I've talked about before, is exceptionally organized. I am organized. Julie is another level organized. I am somebody who likes lists and looking ahead. I have calendars, I have notes, all that stuff. I'm still brutal at remembering things, but I try to write a lot of things down. Julie is she could run oh my gosh, my words. Like a event planner, my goodness. And she could single-handedly do it. She is just the way that she organized, and she knows things well, if you're having 35 people, by 1.5 glasses of wine plus half a sandwich, it means 14 napkins. I don't know, I'm making things up obviously, but she is amazing. And so we sat down last time she was up. It was one of these things that mentally I knew I had to do. We sat down and looked at everything so I do all the financial stuff for Keith and I. He does the majority of every physical thing that there is to do around the house, which is a ton. Administrative, I don't know why I said that. I think I meant like physical. He does more mental stuff I do. So administrative stuff, financial stuff, that's all me. I can tell you numbers. That's who I am anyway. The other day we were at my friend Hunter's and she told me her Wi-Fi password in the morning, and then somebody else showed up and said, do you have Wi-Fi? And I rhymed off I think I could still do it. I got it, yeah. And it's 8 numbers and letters. It's just the way my mind thinks. I am horrible at a lot of things. Numbers is not one of them. So anyway, she and I just sat here and just wrote things out. So passwords for cell phone contracts, for banking stuff, for visas, for life insurance, RRSPs, house and car insurance, water bills, internet. I'm trying to think here. Where we would keep like our property tax stuff and our income tax stuff, and how to get into my email after I pass away, and where I keep, like I have quite an extensive medical costs, like binder of just days we went to the hospital and cost of gas and what we ate and who was there and all this stuff that Keith would be lost without. So that is my random act of kindness. It goes to Julie because she is the one person who kept pushing in a good way to get me to do this. And it was one of those things that it doesn't make me nervous to do. It was just one of those things that I got a lot on the go and I haven't done it. So we actually went out for breakfast and I just sat there. I brought a spiral, like not binder, but like piece of paper, spiral, whatever it's called. My words are brutal. And just made a list, and it sits out, and I haven't had to, I've added one thing to it. But I think we got an extensive list, and I don't think everybody has somebody like that in their life who kind of does that, like has that organization. There's those organization skills in them to kind of help and make that list of things that maybe your spouse or your parent or your child may need. Because I know of people who have passed away and they haven't had this kind of organization, and their loved ones are stuck going, I don't know how to get in here. I don't know. I have to contact so-and-so and say, my mother died and da-da-da. And it's like, okay, well, then you have to send something in written permission and whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. But whereas if I just give Keith all this information, hopefully he can have access to it a lot easier, and that my name can come off things or whatever. Hopefully life insurance isn't a nightmare, that kind of thing. So I think that's a big one. So if you have somebody who's specifically very sick, I guess the same would kind of go for like a separation or divorce where names have to be removed from things. It's always a good thing. So if you have somebody in your life, especially who's terminally ill, I would definitely suggest, I'm sure it's a Googleable as well, that you could Google things that you would need to know, passwords that you should have, and then keep it in a safe place. In our case, it goes into a safe that's locked and all that fun stuff. That's the only thing in there. It's not like we have good stuff to put into a safe, but so yeah, keep it under lock and key. Don't keep it on your phone or keep it on a piece of paper that's just folded up. Keep it somewhere safe if you're going to put all your passwords and stuff all in one spot. So to Julie, thank you for giving me that push. I really appreciate it. And yeah, to anybody who needs that kind of thing, give it a Google because that information is there. Talk to you tomorrow.